Hi. In the past, we have been advised many times to follow our passion, right? You hear that all the time. Follow your passion and the rest will just fall into place. And don't worry about the money because money follows passion. Now, and I believe that, and I still believe it. But now, just with a simple Google search, we see countless videos, lots and lots of videos out there, and lots of information out there. People telling you, don't follow your passion. Just don't do it. Stay away from following your passion. But why? What is going on? Okay, so they are confusing passion with ego, and that's easy to do, but those two things are just completely different from each other. Okay, here's a scenario. A kid does really well in high school, aces math, and gets an A in geometry and trig, and just flies through the calculus like it's nothing. And the parents say, "What do you're probably guessing it already. You should be an engineer, become an engineer. That's what you're made for. That's your purpose. That's what, just be an engineer." And okay, so the high school kid thinks, I don't want to be an engineer. I want to sing. I want to be a singer. I'm not widely known as a singer just yet, but everybody around me thinks I'm good. I started a YouTube channel and it's growing really quickly. And this is really important. I sang all my life. I remember my parents telling me to shut up when I was 3 years old because I sang Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star over and over and over again until they just got so sick of it. And in the school, when there was a play, I always got the part as the singer. And this is important too. And I loved it. Now, he's saying, or she is saying, I aced math because I worked my freaking ass off and hated every minute of it. I know I had to do well to get into a good university, and I didn't know where my life was going at that time. And so I wanted to keep all the doors open. And so I was just doing really, really well in everything. And I just happened to ace math. And I know that my passion is singing now, and I didn't know it then, but I know it now. And I want to continue with that. Once I started my YouTube channel, I started singing, and I just wanted to continue with that. And I don't want to spend my time doing more math in university when I can be working on my career as a singer and entertaining more and more people, because that's what I love to do. I love to entertain people. I love doing that. And it's about bringing my talent forward first, and then about money and fame, possibly. It's not like the kid would be thinking about the fame and the money and everything, but it's first about doing the entertaining. I love to entertain. I love to sing. I love being in front of that crowd. It makes me feel like I'm me. It's just part of who I want to be. And when I'm sitting there doing math, yeah, sure, I can do it well, but I don't like it. And I have to work really, really hard at it. And every minute I'm doing that, I hate it. That's the difference. Now, that scenario is quite a bit different, though, than, say, the kids thinking, I want to sing, I want to be a singer, because I want to be famous, and I want to have people love me, and have lots of money, expensive cars, or any girl or guy, whatever gender. And I'm an okay singer. I think I'm an okay singer, and maybe I can do it, but that's what I'm going to do. Now, you see, there, you're thinking about the outcome, not the process, not the activity. And that is ego. Sorry to say, but that is ego. And when you're working towards ego, ego is a big part of us, and it's important, but ego can be pretty freaking nasty and confuse a lot of things for us, and get us into positions where we don't want to be, and we shouldn't be in the first place. And ego is definitely different than passion. And when you're looking at the outcome and looking about, what this is going to do for me and my image, that's entirely ego. And yeah, you should be thinking about the process. Is the process going to be fun? Are you going to be loving what you do? Or are you going to be salivating over the money or the fame? If that's the case, it's just not going to work. Whatever it is, it's not going to work for you. Usually, and that's because, especially if it's like fame or something that where there's a lot of money, usually those paths that lead to that are really long and they're arduous, and there's a lot of grit that you got to put into it. And you might have to be willing to spend many hours outside your standard 40-hour work week with very little pay. In the beginning, you might have very little pay. And you might even have to work at Starbucks to supplement your income just to pay your rent. And are you willing to do this? And are you going to be having fun while you're doing it? Then maybe, yeah, maybe it is your passion. But you might not get to that outcome for several months or years into the future. And if you're okay with that, then like, go for it, follow your passion. And it makes it sound like, following your passion is pretty easy and it's just going to be this nice smooth ride. That's not the way it works. Because there are going to be times that you're going to procrastinate. You're going to like feel like it's all drudgery, and it's like, when is Friday? Is it Friday yet? It's only Tuesday. And yeah, it's just like anything else. And it's going to feel mundane, but you continue to do it because when you think of like, yeah, maybe I'll just quit this, maybe it's not for me. And then you think, I don't know what I'd be doing if I wasn't doing this, and you just can't quit. The difference between passion and ego is that if you are doing what you do out of passion, it's not a job. You're not going to call it a job. You are okay. You might not be happy with the tedious details, the low pay, and as you work towards your goal. And you might even be willing to take it on as a volunteer job in the beginning. And the main thing is that you're having fun, basically you're enjoying, even though that you could have those tedious moments in there, but you are basically enjoying it. And the difference, if it's ego, then and you're just trying to get to that outcome, the whole thing is this grueling and thankless job. And after a while, you're just not going to give a shit, right? You're just going to get up and go through the motions and just get through the work week, and that's it. Now, how many doctors or people in higher up positions are there because they are passionate about their jobs, as opposed to they're not really passionate about their jobs? Have you ever gone to doctors and know that it's not their passion, that know that they're not passionate about medicine? You can feel it in them, right? And what does that feel like? Yeah, exactly. You just know it. And what got them on that path? What got them on the path, where they're not really following their passion? Maybe it was their parents, kind of pushing them in that direction, and they just didn't know any different. It's like, well, this is what I'm expected to do, so that's what I'll do. Maybe it's status. Maybe they were looking at that status. Maybe the money. I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be different for everybody, I think. But yeah, you can feel it when the person is not following their passion. So why is there say, don't follow your passion, follow your skills? Well, yeah, you're good in math, but I hate it, But so it's not good to do that. Yeah, eventually you're going to be following your passion, regardless of what that is, regardless of how mundane or how little. It's like, well, there's not a whole lot of status connected to being maybe a waiter, but it's better to be an awesome waiter than an awful doctor, don't you think? Now, you might be worried about the money, but yeah, money does follow passion, but it might happen later, but eventually it's probably going to happen. But here we have this big problem though these days. how do you know if it is your passion? How do you know if you found your passion? It doesn't just jump out at you, and it's not something that it's like, oh yeah, it's something that you've known all your life. Some people, yes, that is true. They know ever since they're like 3, 4 years old, I want to be a vet. I want to be a teacher. I want to be able to, whatever it is that they know from a very young age, but not everybody does, and most of us actually don't. So how do you know? In our society, we are molded into what others expect of us. That's why we're not following our passion. Rather than doing what we like to do, the things that come naturally to us, and being who we really are. Now, uh, looking at you in the camera, who are you? Do you even know? And that's a silly question, right? But it's not. A lot of us don't know. It's like, well, geez, who am I? You probably people around you know more about you than you. And that's scary. So if you don't know what your passion is, then maybe try to find something that you would be happy to do for free. Things that you just like to do, right? And then all the hours that you put into it will seem not like work and will fly by quite quickly. And although there's no guarantees, you might see the money come in later. But just try to find activities, just activities. It might not be that job yet, but just something that you like to do. Maybe you like to doodle. Maybe you like to draw little doodles and things like that. And, who knows, that might go into something. But just think about, what are the things that I like to do? What are the things that come kind of naturally for me? And money shouldn't be the main driver, but it has to be there as an outcome. You need to have, we have to be realistic. We need money to survive. And, if your little doodles and whatever aren't going to cut it, then you have to do something that does. I mean, that's just common sense, right? And number 2 is, what did you like doing as a kid? When you were a little kid, what are some of the things that you like to do? Especially the things that set you off from other kids. It's like, well, little Johnny likes to do this, but none of the other kids do. So, that you might find the key there. There are many people who don't know what their passion is. And yeah, if that is you, when you were young, what did you like to do? You must link your passion with who you are really and deep down inside. And so when you were a kid, things just kind of came out. You were more natural when you were a kid than you are as an adult. Now, as we get older, we become less and less our natural being, right? Because we haven't had society there steering us in these different directions. And so when you're a kid, you're just being you. And so look back to then, because that is the real you. And for me, when I was a kid, I liked to talk. And I would, before even I started school, so I was 4 or 5 years old, I would watch Sesame Street and have my take on what I learned, and then walk around behind my mom, chase her around the house, explaining to her what I learned in Sesame Street. It's not like she was listening to me. I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I kind of knew that at the time, but still, like, that's what I like to do. And I like to do that a lot. And a lot of times my parents told me to shut up, not because I was singing, but because I was talking. I talked a lot. Now, the third thing, what did your friends and family members get you to help them with or ask your advice on? Usually, we help each other, family members, friends, and, what do they usually come to you for? And things that it's like, oh, okay, well, sure, I'll help you with that. And things that they can't do themselves, but things that you find fun. And that could be a key. That could be a key to finding your passion. But yeah, we don't listen to people when they say don't follow your passion. That's bad advice. No, it's good advice, but it might take a while. You can't just drop everything and say, I'm going to follow my passion when you don't even really know what it is. First, yeah, you got to get to know who you are and then figure out maybe what it is if you don't know already, and be honest with yourself. Be totally honest and be true. Like you're not gonna, nobody's any better or any worse than anybody else. So, don't try to pop yourself up and say, well, my passion is something that's got, a higher status or a higher pay or whatever. Just go after what your passion is. And that's all I have to say in this video. And thank you for watching.